All right, so we waiting. Friday Night Live. You listen to the replay. I'm waiting on some people to get on, man. We gotta have some. All right, got Miss Austin on. Let's go. Miss Austin is the first one. Now let me know in the chat, Miss Austin. Can you hear me loud and clear? Can you hear me loud and clear? All right, Miss Dyer's on. Somebody let me know. Let me know. Talk to me in the chat. Okay, Miss Austin says yes. Good evening from Minnesota. Well, I told you. It's cold here. Does it start getting cold there already? Minnesota. With the Dome football stadium, man. I remember Minnesota back in the day when they used to play outside, man. It'd be so cold. It'd snow everywhere. That was football. Now everybody in the Dome. I'm sure it's better for everybody, but dang, I used to love watching it when it was cold like that, freezing. It's getting cold already. Okay. 80 degrees in Florida. You know, I like it when it's around 50 or 60, man. That's perfect weather there. You know, perfect. I hate in Atlanta when it starts getting cold. It's 40 in the morning, then 80 in the evening. It's like you got to take your clothes off. If you leave out the house early that morning, you're in trouble the rest of the day. You have to really be able to take your stuff off because it's messed up. But I kind of like it once the season changes, if it stays that way. Like if you're in Minnesota or Chicago or whatever, and it's cold, I love it. Just let it be cold all day. I don't, and when it's hot, let it be hot all day. But this cold in the morning and hot in the evening, and oh man, no. So at least I'll know. I don't have to check the weather. I know in Chicago after October, it's going to be cold. Or Minnesota, it's going to be cold. Atlanta, you don't know. It'd be cold in the morning, hot in the evening. Like, come on, man. Let me know where it's at. All right. So Friday Night Live, man, I got my people on, man. I really want to have some people that I know that will be on here every time I come on. I need some dedicated folks, man. I mean, because I want to make it fun for all of us, and we know each other, even though we hadn't met. But I wanted to build that little camaraderie here that I just don't feel right if Minnesota ain't on here. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel right. If I just don't feel right if Miss Frederick, she's not on here. Now I know everybody got things to do, but when you come back and watch it, and if you leave a comment, Miss Dyer, will I see that comment? If somebody comes back and watches the video and they left a comment like, I'm here, I'm watching the replay or something, will I see that comment? I'm asking a question. Let's see. You have that answer, Ms. Dyer? You have all the answers. You don't have that answer. Are you looking it up or something? Okay. But look, I want this thing to be where we just, it's like, and I don't really like using this term because a lot of people use it. And I really don't like using it because they don't really act, like, all right, here's the word, family. It's going to be like family. Not some of my family. Now, I do like when somebody say, fam, what's up, fam? Yeah, even though that's the same as family, but I wanted y'all to be my clique. We all in the same clique. Something. What time do you normally come? I've been catching the replays. See, I don't know. It's when I get that spirit, that feeling hit me. Now I know it's better to have exact time every time. And I guess I need to do that. I need to set up exact time every day. But and then if I have the spirit hit me, I do another one and another one. You know, but for sure to know, I guess people need to know. Are your notifications on? Is everybody notifications on? Make sure your notifications on and make sure you have that app, the the Mighty app. Make sure everybody downloads the app. Seriously, because I'm telling you, we're going to be tight on here. And I promise you in 12 months, you're going to be a different person. You got a friend in me. You remember that song? You got a friend in me. The kids sing that song. I used to go to this school in Atlanta and read twice a week to a lot of kids who were, you know, the troublemakers that was between the 4th and that 7th grade. Those guys who just always got in trouble. So I would go and read twice a week, Thursdays and Tuesdays. And I would take those 7 guys, 8 guys, whoever was the ones who kept getting in trouble, you know, and, you know, I would come over and, you know, had certain books I was reading, you know, and getting them to read also and getting them to, I mean, we built up a little relationship. And I remember when I stopped going, I'd leave after about a year or two, they played that little song, You Got a Friend in Me. They almost, I almost had a tear in my eye, almost. It didn't come though. I had to make the song cry. I couldn't see them coming down my eyes. So, but I love that little song. They was clapping, You Got a Friend in Me. But seriously though, I want us to be, I mean, I'm telling you, we're gonna get some t-shirts made for this group. Here's the thing, we gotta get a nickname for this group. You know, it's gotta be short and sweet. And I tell you what, the person who comes up with the nickname for this group, for the personal development page, I'm gonna get you depends on where you are, I'm gonna get you a special shirt made just for you. You'll be the only one with that. I don't know, that won't be like team, but I guess it would be. Somebody come up with a name. I give you 2 weeks. Just come up with a name that we could name this personal development page, a nickname, you know, like some kind of little slang, a little nickname we got for it. But, and I'm gonna choose it, nobody else. So when you put it out there, I know it's from you, and I'll let y'all know, you know, who's gonna win that, and we're gonna use that. All right. So anybody listening in the replay, you can also participate. Anybody participate. Got to come up with a name though. It's got to be something that's hot. Like you heard Marvin say locker room talk. Like we had the locker room with the locker room, for a long time for my morning calls. And in the locker room, like in a football locker room, you hear it. You hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It was uncut. It was raw. And so I gave it to you. You know what I'm saying? I can't, I'm not doing that here like that. I'm gonna give a little bit, but I can, because see, that was free. Y'all are paying clients. I don't want y'all to get mad and cancel. No. When it was free, boy, you got it. I'm gonna give it to you though. I'm gonna give it to you here. I'm just warming up though, man. I got so much stuff that we're gonna be talking about in this page, man. So much you don't understand. You're talking about 30 some years of experience, stories, and all kind of stuff I could tell you. I mean, and you're talking to a person that loves doing this. See, I love doing it. I ain't like I like it. I love doing it. So you don't have to worry about me to do that. I love doing it. My challenge would be, getting on here too much. Because I know some people don't understand that you need this in you all the time, and some people don't understand it. So what you'll do is start skipping and stuff, and it starts to pile up, and then you don't. I remember this was, like 1900s, maybe 1998, 99. We did this. I was with this company that was doing a conference call. And we did a conference call every week on Wednesday night. It was just once on Wednesday nights. And it was where the co-founder or the founder, I think he's the founder, he would get on and he would talk for an hour or two. Now, at that time, I was pretty new to the game. I probably had been in the industry a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. I had made a lot of money though, because one of the companies I made, $300,000-400,000 in about a year and a half, almost 2 years, and they went out of business. Shut down. They were blowing money like crazy. They shut down. So, I'm out of business. Even though I made a lot of money, I still don't know a lot about the industry. I just was hustling, just going at it. And when they shut down, eventually I sat back for about a couple of months. I had left AT&T, but I had made so much money, I had it sitting in the doggone bank where it wouldn't get nothing, but it was there. So I started with this company, and this guy was training on financial investments. He's probably one of the first guys to start doing that, a brother too. And he was training on everything. He had these wealth seminars, and his conversation was so powerful that on Wednesdays, I had, going through the week, all the rejections I would get, I couldn't wait for Wednesday night because I would get beat up. This is a time where you couldn't really reach out. Cell phones were out, but you didn't really call. You didn't do like people doing now. And I remember, man, every Wednesday night I'd be there. And the Wednesday nights that he didn't show, it would drive me crazy, man. He didn't leave a message. He didn't say, I'm not, I guess, well, it wasn't the internet, so he couldn't have put it out there on social media. And I don't think people were texting a lot then. It wasn't no texting. I don't think. You had those pages where you could hear the voice come over or something like that, but it really wasn't no texting. So he would just not show. And man, I would be the last one that I would stay on there, man. If that conference call started at 7:30, by 5 minutes to 8, I'm still on there. Everybody else is dropped off. I'm just hoping he's gonna come on and say, something that, because I needed it. I had to have it because I had been getting rejected so much during the week. I had to have it, man. It was like in my soul. I had to have, because I wanted to win so badly, and hearing from him was a refresher every week. I remember I used to even put the phone down, and I had a little cassette recorder. I would record so I can play it back and listen to it. It was a rough recording, but I had it. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and man, I swear I used to be so messed up when he didn't. I'm like, dang, I know he's gonna come on. I know he don't. And he would do that, sometimes twice a month. And I always say, man, if I'm gonna start doing calls, I should say that I'm not gonna operate like that. I'm not gonna not get on unless something's going on with me tremendously. Something's going on. I'm not gonna, can't do that. Because I'm thinking it might be somebody that was like me that was, I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. I don't know. Looking at the participation list here, I don't know. But that was, man, I still remember that to this day. I used to be like, oh no, don't tell me he ain't gonna get on. But I still will hold on, be the last one. And he ain't come on. Matter of fact, my team was growing in his company, and I asked him, could you come speak at an event? So I did an event. It was like Christmas time, almost Christmas time in Atlanta. And it was at that Sheraton Hotel over there off of Cobb Parkway, right there at the exit. I set up an event. I had dinner for my team, and it was like, and I still didn't know how to lead. I didn't know what to even say. And I asked him, could he come, even though I had made money, and could he come and speak? So I made him as the guest speaker. He said, yeah, I'll be there. So it might have been 100 people in that room. I could get people together. They would come out. I could get people together to come, and I edified him, pumped him up, and all that. And I still remember that night when I start. I think I would. Yeah, you could. I guess you could text at that time, because I remember texting him or calling him, and he didn't pick up. And I was thinking, I know he ain't gonna do this. I'm like, I know this man is not gonna not show up. I mean, he's not gonna show up. I'm like, that's what you do on the conference calls. But I guess who you are is who you are. How you do things, one way is how you do it. That's how you do everything else, the same way. So he didn't show up. And people believed in me, but I didn't really know how to stand up and talk. I was in front of the room, and I started talking to him, and I let him know that he wasn't coming. And I can't remember exactly what I said, but I stood there for about 30 minutes talking to him. And I don't remember people tripping. They didn't come to me and say anything, or nobody else. And I remember trying to call him afterwards. He didn't, and I saw him about 2 or 3 days later. This dude didn't even bring it up. He didn't even bring it up. I know sometimes we used to do training on doing that, but I don't think that's what he did. We used to do training on pushing people out there and not showing up, so then they can have to do the presentation and all that. But man, it was a dinner. It was a gathering for my team. It was a gathering for the people. And I hate to say my team. I hate to say my. My is a bad word in this industry, because when you keep saying my, folks gonna start thinking eventually, wait a minute. It doesn't, my team, my this, my that. And I try not to use that term, but I have to sometimes, just to specify who I'm talking about. I'll make sure people understand that. But yeah, I was, man, I remember that clear. I can see it to this day. Probably one of my first events where I had gathered people, and they was all dressed up. We had a nice little time, I guess. I didn't, because it bothered me so much. I guess the people probably was, and I'm sure they wanted to hear, because I edified them. But that's how bad I always wanted stuff when it comes to this. It's just once I got started, it was like I'm that person that goes 140% or go 140 miles an hour. Once I get started, I just do that. I got this addictive nature that I just do. Once I do it, then, when I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. Like if I'm throwing away everything. I don't know why I got into that, made that point, but let's talk about tonight. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about is when a person gets started in business or getting started to learn anything. It's something you got to understand. And this is for people who want to be successful. If you really, really want to be successful, and you really want to make a dent in this world, you want to do something that's big, you got to understand that once you make that decision to get started, you need to get started. You cannot slack, and you cannot hold back trying to wait on the right time to move on. No, it's never going to be a right time. So once you start, I'm talking about once you actually pay your money. Now, making that decision up to that point, sometimes you might have to get your money together. You might have to get, stuff together. But once you get your money and you get started, now it's no time to sit back and wait until you get enough information. No. So you don't have to be a masterpiece to get started. You don't have to be a masterpiece to come out the gate. You just got to come out the gate. Somehow, some way, you just got to start doing it. If they say, okay, you go to that event, go to the event section on the app. Every day it tells you what. I love that, Ms. Dyer. I really do. I like that. that page tells you what's going on that day. And also, if I can remember looking, it shows you the days before that too. So you can like see what's happening the next day and what's happening. Man, if you're serious, you want to commit to the stuff, you know, and start trying to understand what they're saying. I mean, probably not right away, but you got to start, you got to commit to it and say, okay, I'm coming out the gate, man. I'm not going to sit back and, you know, I used to call that the analysis paralysis, or I had a term, I called it the soon as syndrome. Soon, SOON, as, AS, the soon as syndrome, meaning that soon as, you know, football practice is over with, or soon as football season is over with, I'm going to get started in that business. I'm going to really get going. Because right now my kids are football practice and I got to take them here, I got to take them there. And soon as football practice is over, soon as cheerleader practice is over, I got to take my daughter to cheerleader practice. She go this and that. Soon as volleyball season over, soon as Frank get off the late shift. Man, as soon as Frank get off the late shift, and Frank get off that late shift, I'm going to be ready to go. Because it's hard to do the business when Frank ain't here, because then I'm thinking about maybe, you know, something going on outside. I hear every little noise. It's hard for me. But when I know Frank here and he worked during the day, oh, man, I'm going to crank this thing up. Soon as I get some money, as soon as I get some money, man, Kanye, wait till I get my money right. I thought we did this to get some money. That's what I thought the point was. It ain't gonna always, it'll never be all right. It ain't gonna never, my grandmother, I'm gonna tell you, my grandmother used to say a lot of stuff. And you're gonna hear me say that a lot. Because I love my grandmother. I did. She used to, boy, my grandmother was my grandmother. I put it this way. I put it that way. So, but she'd always say, baby, if you're waiting on all the lights to turn green to go to town, you ain't gonna never leave the house. I used to think about that. I'm like, Grandma, I'm not going to town. What light's gonna be green? I didn't when she said it at first, but then after hearing it for a while, and I asked my mother, she kind of explained to me, and so I've been using that. I don't know how many. I've used that all the time. Those lights, like if you're on the street and a number of traffic lights, you'll never have all 10 of them on green at one time. You won't never have that. If you do, one is gonna change back to red before you, because you can't wait till everything line up. You just gotta go. You just gotta start doing stuff, and then it'll start falling in line as you do it. You just gotta do it. That's how you know. I'm sure listening to like the other night, I was listening to real estate training. No, not real estate, the stock market options. But I was listening, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there like, I got a partner of mine too. He thinks I'll talk about him later. But yeah, you gotta be willing to come out the gate and go for it. You ain't gonna be a masterpiece coming out the gate. You're not gonna, and you probably never will be. But you don't have to be a masterpiece to win. Now, one of the things you have to do is work on the inside, because Lauren Hill told y'all that. How you gonna win if you ain't right within? You got to work on that person on the inside. You got to work on that mentality, because that's what slows people down. That's what keeps people from going through it. I mean, from continuing anything, is the mindset, the thought process. You know, that's the biggest key, that you have to mentally be ready for everything that life's going to throw at you, because it will. It's going to throw a lot of things at you. One of the things you want to know too, some of you have been around, are people that are kind of new to this or getting started kind of, it's not really a get rich quick thing. You know, it's a get rich, but you know, when people, I know jokers be telling y'all, I know Hakeem told you that, you know, man, you ever get rich? And that dude I was telling you about yesterday, he got it all over his car, asked me how to get rich. But no, it's quicker than, let's say, on a job, but it's still a process on how to do it. So understanding your mind that it's not, you can go out here on social media and you'll see a lot of things. It seems like everybody just opening a can to get rich. Not true. And you can't really debate with people on that because they, whatever they believe in their mind, oh, you just a hater, man. You just a hater. Because I told you it ain't a get rich thing like that. You can't get rich quick like that. You just a hater. Okay. You just a hater. We got to decide, commit, and know there's going to be a grind to get things done. You know, you can make a grind fun. You could do that. You can make grind fun, especially if everybody's in a fight, especially when everybody get on this page and you looking to see who's all on here, who's not. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I'm just saying this need to be a group of people who are committed to each other that's going to be on here regardless. Because when you don't make it part of your life, it's going to be hard for a person to really win because it ain't no guarantee then. But for you to just be tiptoeing and dipping in and dipping out and not being a part of this consistently, I'm that person, and this page is that person that you really need to be around on a regular basis. I'm the one, or this page is the one that you need to be hearing things from. And you don't even, sometimes you don't even realize that. Some people, and one of the challenges, some people have gotten where they are in life, which they don't look at it as, you know, whatever. But for so long, thinking one way, that it's difficult for them to get on here and understand that there's some things that need to be adjusted. That old person that's been with you for years don't want to adjust these things. You know, y'all like the mirror, the rearview mirror turns slightly like that. If somebody get in their car and turn it, oh, you don't like it, the old person been with you don't like it. That ain't how we do our mirror. And so when you start hearing stuff over here on this page and you start listening, oh no, I don't, you know, I get on there, you know, we don't need to be on that every time we come on. We don't need to be on there every time. Okay, why? Well, we just don't. Why we just don't? You need to have somebody on here that knows who you are and knows what's going on. I mean, I know the person that you are. I might not know you, but I've met you. I told the lady the other day, I met you. You just had a different name because you got the same personality as this person. I know who you are. I've been doing this for so long. I know. So when I'm talking to you. I'm not talking, you know, some people come in and they're giving a good speech, but their speech is not from living in that environment. I've been living in this environment for the long. I know the doubts that you have. I know what's going on with you. And that's why I know this right here is what you need to lock in on, man. This should be something, you know, I don't try to go too long to drag it out for y'all. I try to do 30, 40 minutes, sometimes shorter than that, because then I can get back on. But I'm not trying to beat you to death, but I know that this is something, man, that, I mean, for Ms. Dyer and Mr. Rogers to put this together, man, I don't think nobody really has something like this in their company. I don't. don't know if they do it. I just don't think nobody has, because I don't even know. And if they have it, they don't. It's not a person that's lived what you're trying to go through. It might be somebody talking that say, I've been 30 years. I've seen it. I've seen how the industry goes. I've seen how it changes and what happens with people. I saw in 2009, 2008, right after the real estate bust, I saw how the industry kind of changed from getting real personal development stuff to people just running in trying to get money. It changed when you start talking to leaders and you realize these guys they ain't even been trained to get the personal development stuff. They just came in, a lot of them from real estate when the industry shut doors and they just, it was all hustle mode. All hustle mode. It wasn't let's develop them. It wasn't, if you develop people develop the team. It wasn't that. It was just, let's go hustle and let's get it. And a lot of little people, when I say little, a lot of people who didn't have the experience of the industry and didn't have the personal development, they got really crushed. And that's what a lot of been happening a lot now. A lot of folks come in, they get, because it's go get it. It's a different industry from where it was before. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's a different one. And that's why I said to have this where, I could be on here and, I can have other people on here with me. I got to figure that out too, Ms. I still hadn't, because I wanted somebody in the morning with me on the book club, but you're going to have to help me, show me how to get somebody on there. But, you're the CEO of your business. You are the CEO of your business, and understand that. All right. Another thing. The best investment that you can make in this world, I believe, is starting a business, because we live in a capitalist society and having a business is key. But the challenge is most people can't, because they can't afford it, or they don't have appreciation in that, especially our type of business. Because a lot of people think that the business you should have is a big, building and you got all these employees. That's what a lot of people think is a real business. They don't think, and mentally they don't have it there. I remember talking to my father-in-law, my wife's, he's from Cleveland, Ohio, and he owned he used to play professional football back in the day in the 60s with Jim Brown. He went to Ohio State, but he owned a couple of Burger Kings, and he also had a Firestone. And I remember talking to him, because I always try to get advice from people, I was like, man, tell me, what would you do different in this day and time? What would you do? He said, kind of like what you're doing. I would not have any overhead. I would not, go into business and have all this overhead. A lot of people don't understand that. They think that is a business when you got a bunch of overhead, when you got 100 employees and you got trucks running around and all that. And those are businesses, but that doesn't mean that what we're doing is not a business either. They got to understand that. The IRS look at it as a business. they look at it as a business, so it's got to be a business. But remember, you are the CEO of your business. Is you incorporated. You are your business. Your business can never go out of business until you leave and, till you drop in the casket. You know what I'm saying? Your business can never go out because it's you. You're the one running your business. You incorporated. So understand that. Now, here's a key. And I'm not saying that because I've been saying this for years and years and more years. And I'm going to say it again. The best investment is to have a business. But when you in business, the best investment in business is to invest in you. Because now you're in business. You invest in you, in your mindset, in your personal development. I was talking about that I always been saying this for years. Go to seminars, Get the books, read them, keep your mind, make sure that those things become your environment. Like I said, this needs to become your environment. Even if you doing something else, have it on in the background just like you got your TV on. Have it on in the background like you got your TV on. Because there's some people, I just got to have some noise. Well, have this noise on. Have this noise on in your background. You know, got you, Willie. That's cool. That's what I'm saying. Have this on because you never know what might come out, something that will trigger you. And you're like, oh, man. I know a lot of times I used to be on conference calls and things, and I was like, it'll make me think of somebody that I didn't have on my list, or it'll make me move to do something that I needed to do, and that was that little push. Okay, Brandy, tell your clients I say hello. But it was that little push. But you got to realize that you are the CEO. It's you incorporated. It's your business. It starts with you. It stops with you. Feed that mind and starve the doubt. The people who don't do that, it's a small percentage of folk out here who can just turn on beast mode and just get. It's a small percentage, but most of the time, most people, and one of the challenges I have when I talk to those guys who just go out here and hustle and grind, you know, I call them car salesmen. I tell them all the time, I say, man, just because you can do that, that doesn't mean the people that you bringing into business, they need something else. The people you bringing in need to be on this page, in this private page. The people you bringing in need to be reading. The people, because they can't be like you. I'm going to give you the exception to the rule. I'm going to say, okay, you are that. Now, if they don't see you on here, they don't see you talking about it. See, I'm trying to show you how to let this page help them. Let's say you are that guy that can just still show them that you own and you go do something else. If that's the case, if you feel like you got all this information and you don't need it, and I'm not saying you have to. I know I need it. That's why I keep saying it. But if you don't, if you got people that you're trying to help them succeed in life, you've invited them to this business, you have them involved, you have to be involved in this so they can be involved in it. Now, are there grown people? Yeah, they're grown, and some of them will do it anyway besides you, but I'm just saying, you have to be plugged in also. You know, we used to say, make sure your car is like plugged in. You know, that's when we had that back in the day when you had all the CDs and cassettes and all that. Now, when you get in the car, you can be plugged in from your phone. You just take this and plug it into, and you can listen if you're not on here talking. And that's one of the challenges now, is that we get in the car. This thing here, man, is a blessing and a curse. It really is. It's a blessing and a curse. Think about this. You remember, some of y'all might remember this. Before cell phones, when you got in the car, it was either the radio or, for me, it became Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, Tony Robbins. I mean, Les Brown was the guy, man. You have to give Les Brown need to get his flowers now, because this was a brother that broke all barriers, man. Les was a guy. Before him, it ain't been nobody else like him, you know, not like him, period. But for him to go through the time period that he did, he is the GOAT. You know, for us, I think he is, because Les was, man, he the GOAT for real. So, but, you know, I was feeding my mind all the time. I kept, you know, I took Tupac out and put in Earl Nightingale. Now, I gave Tupac 25% of my time, but 75% was Earl Nightingale, Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, Les Brown. Feed My Mind, thrown it to the. I remember this one lady I picked up. She had a flat tire, and she was living over in my neighborhood. I've seen her, but I didn't know her. But I went past her, turned around, and came back because she had a flat tire. And I was like, "Hey, you need a ride?" She said, "Yeah, I do. I need to go down to the tire store, and they'll probably bring me back up here, but I just need to." I said, "Okay." So the tire store we went to was closed, and I went to another one. This was in the 1900s. But I remember her sitting in the car, and I had Jim Rome playing. It was Jim Rome's exit. And about 5 minutes into the ride, she said, "Are they gonna play any music?" I said, I think she probably thought they were the DJs or something. I was like, me and her became friends too. And to this day, I always bring that up to her. And I'm going to tell you, I helped her a lot. She'll tell you that because of that, she started listening to audios and, because, really, she has this job at Georgia Tech that she loved. And she said it gave her the strength to even go and interview, listening to the stuff. But I remember she said, "They don't play any music." But you got to work on yourself, man. You got to keep feeding your mind stuff that the media is not going to feed you, that your friends are not going to feed you, that you have to constantly keep those thoughts going in your head about success and, challenges that you have to go through to get there. You got to, man, you got to make it a part of your life. This needs to be a part of your life. Along with everything else, this needs to be a part of your life. It really does. Like I said, there's so much stuff I have that just in conversation, me talking to you guys, is going to come out, a lot of the stuff. But notice that you have to have, you got to build on the inside. You got to build that person is on the, and when I call on the inside, it's the things that you remember that has been recorded up here. The things that was recorded up here between the womb and 8 to 9 years old was the most programmable time in your life because it was nothing up here. It was a clean slate. So whatever you heard during that time as a child, it stayed there and it's still there. It's in us and we don't realize that. That's why they said, a lot of used to say they build prisons based on 4th grade and 5th grade tests. They know what kind of crime is going to be created because they know that these people and the way they're thinking now is not going to change because it's not going to be, nobody's going to interrupt it and have you deprogram and reprogram. They know that. The stuff that we're talking about here that's going to interrupt that and start getting you, nobody's teaching, you don't go to no school to get that. This industry has always been teaching that. But that, to most people never get this information. You can ask some of your friends, you're like, you know who John C. Maxwell is? Who? You don't know who John C. Maxwell is? Was he on wait a minute. He was on when he on what's the TV show that's come on back in the day? That's what they'll say. I can't think of no TV show. That's what they'll say. Now, if any of y'all say that, if any of y'all over there thinking, who is John C. Maxwell? Hey, if don't move, don't say nothing. We won't know, okay? All right, I'm gonna leave y'all with this story, man. Wrap it up. All right. So there was this very wealthy guy back in the day that decided that he would start doing seminars at his house. He had this big house. This was way back in the day, the 30s, maybe 20s or something. And so people would come by his home to, you know, get the seminars and learn from him. And just like anything else, you know, you got jealous people, you got haters, you got folks who look for opportunities to satisfy their needs that they have. And after a while, people coming by, folks start breaking in his house. Now, back then, it wasn't no alarm systems. You know, he just had this huge house. And they were breaking in his home, so he decided he's just gonna get a dog, a big dog, to watch the house. Big German Shepherd. It was a huge dog that he brought. And then he put signs up around the house to let, you know, make sure them crooks come and know that dog is in there. You know what I'm saying? It was a mean looking dog too. The dog was in the house. That was his protection because he stopped having the meetings at his house. I was about to talk about me when I was having meetings in my house. Let's stop. I'll tell y'all one thing about that. But he said, I got to stop, man. I can't keep. So he went out of town one week and left the dog there, you know, as his protection. So dog was laying there, telling y'all the story now. Dog was laying there and he heard somebody moving around in the house. So the dog's sitting there thinking, wait a minute. I know they saw these signs outside, signs everywhere saying kill a dog in here. I know they saw these signs. You know, he was a little sleepy. He's like, man, I really don't feel like fooling with these. I'm, you know, dog thinking that. So he kept hearing him, and finally, dog looked in the kitchen, and there he was. A man was standing there trying to, you know, he was trying to wrap up in his bag what he had. He had a little coat on him. And so he, thinking quickly while the dog was standing, he just took off and jumped out the window. So the dog thinking, here you go. Got to go get this guy now, because that's what he hired me for. And I don't believe he didn't see all these signs. So the dog took off running at him, running behind him. Now, the guy was slick because I guess he knew the dog was in there. So in his pocket, while he was running, he had this little cat in his pocket. And as the dog was getting closer, he dropped the little cat out of his pocket. And the cat went this way, and he went that way. Now the dog running, thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? This man has hired me to keep criminals from out of here and catch these criminals. But this cat, I like cats. I got to get this cat. I got to track this cat down and kill it. So he run. And of course, instead of him going after the man, he turned and ran after the cat. So now while he was chasing the cat, he's running. He thinking to himself, y'all might remember this song or something. He thinking to himself, why must I feel like that? Why must I chase this cat? So he thinking, must be the dog in me. So he running. He said, why must I feel like that? And he running and running. Why must I chase this cat? He said, it must be the dog in me. So he getting closer to the cat. and the cat jumps the road. It was a main highway. Dog jumps the road too. And right in the middle of him crossing the road in the air to catch the cat, you know what happened? A truck came by. Wham! Knocked the dog to the other side of the street, and the dog laying there bleeding, and he thinking to himself, why must I feel like that? Why was I chasing this cat? Why? Here's the point of the story. All of us have some cat that's keeping us from being focused. You got to think about, I don't know what your cat is, but everybody has a cat. It could be alcohol. It could be drugs. It could be TV. It could be social media. It could be anything that's distracting us. That's our cat. Why are we chasing this cat? Everybody has one. We got to get rid of that cat. You got to know, I got a problem. Something just keeping me from being focused. I don't know what it is. Could be sex. Like I said, it could be whatever you got to focus on that's not going the way that you need to be going is your cat. What's your cat? And you got to get rid of that cat. Because it's distracting you. And everybody, I'm telling you, is one. You know you got one. I don't know what it is, but you know you got one. You got to get rid of that cat. Because you see what happened to the dog. You see what happened to the dog. What's your cat? Get rid of that cat and stay focused. All right, that's it. Good night, folks. We out of here. All she wrote, pen and pencil broke. What's your cat?